reviewing the White Paper on Citizenship, Immigration and Refugee Protection in South Africa. What would you do if you were forced to leave your home today? How would you rebuild your life in a completely new country, without your friends, family, or familiar surroundings? Can you imagine a world where every 20 minutes someone is forced to flee their home due to conflict or persecution? At the end of 2022, there were approximately 26 million refugees worldwide, the highest number ever seen. Nearly half of the world's refugees are children under the age of 18. 1 in every 97 people on Earth is now forcibly displaced, representing a population larger than the entirety of the United Kingdom. Less than 1% of refugees are resettled each year, leaving millions in prolonged situations of uncertainty. Hello and welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic of immense importance and relevance, not just for South Africa, but for the global community. We are reviewing and dissecting the White Paper on Citizenship, Immigration and Refugee Protection, towards a complete overhaul of the migration system in South Africa. This pivotal document, recently published by the Department of Home Affairs in South Africa, marks a significant step in the nation's approach to immigration and refugee protection. In the wake of increasing global migration challenges, South Africa is seeking to revolutionize its migration policies. This white paper aims to address the complexities of modern migration, balancing the need for national security with the humanitarian obligations towards refugees and immigrants. It's not just a policy document, it's a blueprint for building a more inclusive, fair and humane system that respects international standards and the dignity of every individual who comes seeking refuge or a new life in South Africa. South Africa, with its unique history and position in the African continent, faces distinct migration challenges. This white paper offers a comprehensive look at these challenges and proposes structured solutions. From redefining what it means to be a refugee to establishing non-discriminatory practices for their treatment, the document is an ambitious overhaul of the existing system. In this video, we're going to explore the key points of this white paper, analyze its potential impact, and discuss how it could shape the future of South Africa's approach to one of the most pressing issues of our time. So, let's get started. The purpose of today's video is multi-layered and critical to understanding not just a policy document, but the lives and futures it will impact. We're going to delve deep into the White Paper on Citizenship, Immigration and Refugee Protection, and unpack what it really means for South Africa, and, by extension, for the global conversation on migration and refugee protection. Our journey through this white paper will be thorough. We're not just skimming through the pages, we're dissecting its core elements. We'll explore its key points, what definitions it uses for refugees, the legal frameworks it proposes, and the non-discrimination policies it aims to uphold. But we're not stopping there. We'll analyze the implications of these policies. How will they affect the lives of refugees and migrants? What does this mean for South African society and its international obligations? These are questions that need answers. And importantly, we recognize that no policy is perfect. With a critical eye, we'll highlight areas where the white paper might fall short. We'll offer recommendations for improvement, ensuring that the policies not only meet international standards, but also align with the principles of human dignity and fairness. This isn't just a review, it's a conversation. We want to engage with you, our viewers. Your insights, experiences, and opinions matter. So, as we go through the points, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Together, we can contribute to a meaningful discourse on this pivotal issue. Before we delve into the specifics of the white paper, let's set the stage by understanding the current migration landscape in South Africa. South Africa's position as one of the continent's major economic powerhouses makes it a prime destination for migrants and refugees from across Africa and beyond. Historically, South Africa has been both a source and a destination for migrants. The end of apartheid saw the country transforming into a beacon of hope and opportunity for many. However, this transformation has not been without its challenges. The influx of people seeking better lives or refuge has put a strain on the country's resources and has sometimes led to social tensions. The existing migration system in South Africa has been criticised for being outdated, inefficient, and not fully equipped to handle the complex realities of modern migration. Issues range from prolonged processing times for asylum applications to inadequate provisions for integrating refugees into society. Moreover, there's a pressing need to balance national security concerns with humanitarian obligations. In recent years, we've seen instances of xenophobia, overcrowded refugee camps, and legal battles over migrants' rights. These challenges highlight the urgent need for a system that is more responsive, fair, and in line with international standards. This is where the White Paper comes in. It proposes a complete overhaul of the migration system, aiming to address these long-standing issues. The goal? To create a framework that is not only efficient and secure, but also respectful of the rights and dignities of all individuals who come to South Africa seeking a new home or refuge. Now, let's dive into the heart of the White Paper on citizenship, immigration, and refugee protection. This document isn't just a set of guidelines, it's a vision for a radically transformed migration system in South Africa. Here are its main objectives. First and foremost, the White Paper aims to establish a humane and rights-respecting approach to migration. It acknowledges the challenges faced by refugees and migrants and seeks to ensure their dignity and rights are upheld. A key objective is to streamline and modernize the immigration process. This includes reducing the time it takes to process asylum applications, making the system more efficient and less cumbersome for both applicants and administrators. Integration is another major focus. The White Paper proposes strategies for the social and economic integration of refugees and migrants into South African society. This is crucial for fostering a harmonious and inclusive environment. Legally, the document seeks to align South Africa's migration policies with international standards and obligations. This means revising current laws and practices to ensure they meet global human rights and refugee protection benchmarks. Furthermore, the White Paper emphasizes the importance of international cooperation. Migration is a global issue, and South Africa recognizes the need to work collaboratively with other countries and international organizations. Lastly, the document addresses national security concerns. It proposes measures to ensure that while South Africa remains open and welcoming to refugees and migrants, it also safeguards its borders and communities. For those of you interested in being a part of this significant change, there's an opportunity to make your voice heard. The Department of Home Affairs is inviting public comments on the White Paper. This is your chance to contribute to shaping South Africa's migration policy. The deadline for submitting your comments is the 19th of January, 2024. It's crucial to make sure your feedback reaches them by this date if you want it to be considered. So, how can you submit your feedback? There are several ways you can do this. Firstly, you can deliver your comments by hand to the Department of Home Affairs, located at 230 Johannes Ramoko Street, Hallmark Building, Pretoria. Make sure to address it to the attention of Mr. Sila Mathian. Alternatively, you can mail your submission to the department at Private Bag X114, Pretoria 00001. And for those who prefer the digital route, you can email your comments to whitepaper@edha.gov.za. This email address is specifically set up for receiving public feedback on the White Paper. This is a unique opportunity for citizens, experts, and stakeholders to engage directly with policymaking. Whether you're a refugee, a migrant, an advocate, or simply a concerned citizen, your insights and experiences can make a valuable contribution to this critical discussion. One of the most crucial aspects of the White Paper is its definition of a refugee. How we define a refugee shapes everything from who qualifies for asylum to the kind of support and protection they receive. According to the White Paper, a refugee is defined broadly, in line with international standards. It includes any person who, due to a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons such as race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion, is outside the country of their nationality and unable or, owing to such fear, unwilling to avail themselves of the protection of that country. This definition is significant. It recognizes the diverse reasons why individuals flee their countries, encompassing not just current, but also historical conventions and arrangements. It's a definition that speaks to the complexity and evolving nature of global refugee situations. Now, let's talk about the implications. Firstly, this inclusive definition ensures that South Africa's refugee policies cover a wide range of individuals seeking asylum. It's a commitment to not turning a blind eye to various forms of persecution and displacement. Secondly, this definition aligns South Africa with international refugee law, particularly the 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 Protocol. It's a step towards global cooperation and shared responsibility in handling refugee crises. However, this broad definition also presents challenges. It requires a robust and efficient system to assess and process a potentially large number of asylum claims. The country needs to have the administrative capacity and legal framework to manage this responsibility effectively. A pivotal aspect of the White Paper is the Non-Discrimination Clause. This is more than just a policy statement. It's a commitment to upholding the dignity and rights of all refugees, regardless of their background. The Non-Discrimination Clause states that the provisions of the Convention must be applied to refugees without discrimination as to race, religion, or country of origin. This is fundamental in ensuring that refugee protection is fair and equitable. Why is this clause so important? Well, it serves several critical functions. First, it reinforces the principle that every human being deserves protection and respect, irrespective of their identity. This is key in a world where refugees often face bias and prejudice. Secondly, this clause helps in creating a more welcoming and accepting environment for refugees. By mandating non-discrimination, it challenges and seeks to break down the barriers of xenophobia and racism that refugees may face in their host countries. Additionally, it aligns South Africa's refugee policies with international human rights norms. The principle of non-discrimination is a cornerstone of international human rights law, and by incorporating this clause, South Africa demonstrates its commitment to these global standards. However, implementing this clause effectively is not without its challenges. It requires continuous monitoring and active efforts to ensure that policies and practices on the ground genuinely reflect this non-discriminatory approach. This includes training for officials, awareness campaigns for the public, and a robust system for addressing any instances of discrimination. An important, yet often overlooked part of refugee policy is understanding when and why the protection granted to refugees might cease. The White Paper outlines specific conditions under which a person's status as a refugee can come to an end. These cessation conditions are critical in maintaining the integrity of the refugee protection system. They ensure that individuals are not indefinitely labelled as refugees when circumstances have fundamentally changed. So, what are these conditions? The Convention will cease to apply to a person if they voluntarily re-avail themselves of the protection of their country of nationality. In simpler terms, if refugees can safely return to their home country and choose to do so, they no longer qualify for refugee status. Another condition is if the refugee has voluntarily reacquired their nationality, or acquired a new nationality and enjoys the protection of the new country. This reflects the situation where a refugee has found a new permanent home and no longer requires international protection. Additionally, if the circumstances in the refugee's home country have changed significantly, making it safe for them to return, their refugee status may cease. This is based on the principle that refugee status is not meant to be permanent, but a response to temporary danger or persecution. While these cessation conditions are necessary, they must be applied with caution and due process. It's important that refugees are not forced back into dangerous situations. Each case must be evaluated individually, with the utmost consideration for the safety and well-being of the refugee. While the White Paper and its accompanying convention offer broad protection for refugees, it's equally important to understand who is not covered under this convention and the rationale behind these exclusions. The convention lays out specific criteria under which certain individuals are excluded from being recognized as refugees. This is crucial for maintaining the integrity and purpose of refugee protection. One key exclusion is for individuals who are currently receiving protection or assistance from organs or agencies of the United Nations, other than the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. The reasoning here is to avoid duplication of international protection and assistance. However, it's important to note that once such protection or assistance ceases, without the position of these individuals being definitively settled, they then become entitled to the benefits of this convention. This ensures a safety net for those who might otherwise fall through the cracks. Another exclusion applies to those who have committed serious non-political crimes outside the country of refuge before being admitted as a refugee. This includes crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. It's a measure to ensure that the protection offered by refugee status is not extended to those who pose a serious threat to safety and security. These exclusions are in place to ensure that refugee protection is not misused and is reserved for those genuinely in need. However, the application of these exclusion clauses must be handled with care, ensuring that they are not used unjustly to deny protection to those who rightfully deserve it. At the core of any refugee policy should be the unwavering respect for human dignity and rights. Let's delve into how the White Paper on Citizenship, Immigration and Refugee Protection aligns with this essential principle. The White Paper makes a concerted effort to respect and uphold the dignity and rights of refugees. This is evident in its comprehensive definition of a refugee, which acknowledges a wide range of reasons why individuals might be forced to flee their homes. It's a recognition of their plight and a commitment to provide sanctuary. Furthermore, the inclusion of a non-discrimination clause is a strong affirmation of the principle of equality. By ensuring that refugees are treated without bias towards their race, religion, or country of origin, the White Paper upholds the universal nature of human rights. By aligning with international human rights norms and conventions, the document demonstrates South Africa's commitment to global standards. This includes adhering to principles laid out in the 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 Protocol. The focus on integration strategies within the White Paper also speaks to the respect for human dignity. By facilitating avenues for social and economic inclusion, the policy recognizes refugees not just as victims in need of aid, but as individuals capable of contributing to society. While the White Paper takes significant steps towards protecting human dignity and rights, the real test will be in its implementation. It's crucial that these principles are reflected in the day-to-day handling of refugee matters. Indeed, the White Paper sets a strong foundation, but the journey doesn't end here. Continuous monitoring and advocacy will be essential to ensure that these policies are brought to life in a way that truly honors the dignity and rights of every individual seeking refuge in South Africa. A cornerstone of any progressive refugee policy is the assurance of fair and equitable treatment for all. Let's explore how the White Paper embodies this non-discriminatory approach in its vision for South Africa's migration system. At the heart of the document is the Non-Discrimination Clause, which explicitly states that refugees should be treated without discrimination based on race, religion, or country of origin. This is a crucial aspect that aligns with the fundamental principles of human rights. This non-discriminatory approach is significant for several reasons. It ensures that refugees, who often flee dire circumstances, are not subjected to further prejudice or bias based on their identity. It's about providing a safe haven where their rights and dignity are respected. The inclusion of a non-discrimination clause is commendable. However, it's important to translate this policy into practice. This means training for immigration officials, awareness campaigns for the public, and a mechanism to address any instances of discrimination. Moreover, this approach plays a vital role in the successful integration of refugees into society. When refugees feel safe and accepted, they are more likely to contribute positively to their new communities, enriching them socially and culturally. It's also worth noting that fair and equitable treatment of refugees can have a ripple effect, promoting a broader culture of tolerance and acceptance within the host country. This is key to building a cohesive and harmonious society. A critical aspect of any national policy, especially on issues like migration and refugee protection, is its alignment with international conventions and standards. Let's assess how the White Paper measures up in this regard. The White Paper makes a concerted effort to align with international norms. It echoes the definitions and principles found in the 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 Protocol, particularly in its broad definition of a refugee and the inclusion of a non-discrimination clause. By adhering to these standards, South Africa not only solidifies its stance on human rights, but also strengthens its position in the international community. It's a signal that the country is willing to take on its share of global responsibilities when it comes to refugee protection. The White Paper's alignment with international standards is a positive step. However, it's important to ensure that these are not just words on paper, but are reflected in the actual treatment of refugees within South Africa's borders. One of the key areas where this alignment is evident is in the procedural aspects of refugee protection. The White Paper proposes more streamlined and humane processes for handling asylum claims, which is in line with international best practices for refugee processing. However, alignment with international standards is an ongoing process. It requires continuous evaluation and adaptation to ensure that policies remain relevant and effective in the face of changing global and local dynamics. While the White Paper sets a promising direction for South Africa's migration and refugee policy, it's crucial to acknowledge the challenges and limitations that may arise in implementing these ambitious policies. Firstly, the sheer scale of implementing such comprehensive changes cannot be underestimated. Transforming the existing system will require significant resources, training, and time. There's a risk of bureaucratic delays and operational hiccups in the initial stages of implementation. Another major challenge is the administrative capacity of the Department of Home Affairs. Processing a large number of asylum applications efficiently and humanely while also ensuring security checks is a daunting task. There's a risk of backlogs which can leave refugees in limbo. Integrating refugees into society is another significant challenge. It's not just about legal status, It's about ensuring access to education, healthcare, and employment. This requires coordination across various sectors and levels of government. Furthermore, public perception and xenophobia remain issues of concern. Despite the White Paper's progressive stance, achieving widespread public support and countering negative attitudes towards refugees can be challenging. On an international level, South Africa's policies must adapt to changing global migration patterns and crises. The flexibility and responsiveness of the system to these dynamics will be a critical test. While the White Paper on Citizenship, Immigration and Refugee Protection lays out a comprehensive framework, there's always room for enhancement. Let's explore some suggestions on how these policies could be further improved to better protect refugees and support their integration. Firstly, capacity building is key. Strengthening the administrative capabilities of the Department of Home Affairs is crucial. This could involve increasing staffing, providing specialized training, and investing in technology to streamline asylum processes. Integration strategies need to be holistic. It's not just about legal status. It's about helping refugees become active, contributing members of society. This includes access to language courses, job training programs, and educational opportunities. Public awareness and education campaigns are essential. These can help combat xenophobia and build a culture of acceptance and understanding. Involving the media, civil society, and educational institutions can be effective in this regard. Enhancing international cooperation is another key area. Collaborating with other nations and international organizations can provide valuable insights, share best practices, and even resources for managing refugee inflows. Also, there needs to be a focus on vulnerable groups within the refugee community. Special provisions for women, children, and individuals with disabilities should be included to ensure that their unique needs are met. An integral part of implementing any refugee policy is fostering public understanding and support. Let's discuss the critical role of public education and awareness in creating a supportive environment for refugees. Educating the public about the realities that refugees face is essential in dispelling myths and misconceptions. Awareness campaigns can help break down the barriers of xenophobia and build empathy towards those who seek refuge in South Africa. It's important to involve various stakeholders in these awareness campaigns. This includes schools, community groups, media outlets, and even refugees themselves. Sharing real stories and experiences can have a powerful impact. The media plays a pivotal role in shaping public perception. Encouraging responsible and sensitive media coverage of refugee issues is vital. It's about moving away from narratives that incite fear to those that promote understanding and compassion. Such awareness initiatives can also extend to schools and universities. Incorporating discussions on refugees and migration into the curriculum can foster a culture of inclusivity and respect from a young age. Community engagement activities, like cultural exchange events and volunteer programs, can also be effective. These interactions allow for personal connections and a deeper understanding of each other's backgrounds and experiences. As we come to the end of our discussion on the White Paper on Citizenship, Immigration and Refugee Protection, let's take a moment to recap the key points we've covered today. We started by understanding the purpose and objectives of the White Paper. It's a bold step towards overhauling South Africa's migration system, aiming to create a more humane, efficient, and rights-respecting approach to handling refugees and migrants. We delved into the definition of a refugee as per the White Paper, which aligns with international standards and emphasizes a broad, inclusive approach. We also discussed the Non-Discrimination Clause, a crucial aspect that ensures fair and equitable treatment of refugees. We acknowledged the challenges and limitations in implementing these policies, from administrative capacities to public perceptions. And we explored suggestions for enhancing these policies, emphasizing the need for capacity building, holistic integration strategies, and public education. The White Paper represents a significant step forward for South Africa in terms of aligning with international refugee law and standards. However, the journey from policy to practice is complex and requires concerted effort from all stakeholders. Now that we've journeyed through the key aspects of the White Paper on citizenship, immigration, and refugee protection, it's your turn to take action. I encourage each of you to read the document for yourselves. It's one thing to hear about it, but quite another to explore it personally. You'll find a link to the White Paper in the video description below. Remember, the Department of Home Affairs is seeking public feedback until the 19th of January 2024. This is a unique opportunity for you to contribute your voice and perspective to this important conversation. Whether you choose to send your comments by email, mail, or deliver them in person, your input can make a difference. Details on how to submit your feedback are also in the video description. And finally, let's keep the conversation going. Discuss these issues with your friends, family, and community. Engage on social media, in your local community groups, or even start a discussion in the comments section below. The more we talk about refugee protection, the more we can contribute to a society that is informed, compassionate, and inclusive. As we close today's discussion on the White Paper on citizenship, immigration, and refugee protection, let's remember one fundamental truth. Migration is a human story. Behind the policies, statistics, and debates are real people, each with their own hopes, fears, and dreams. The journey towards creating humane and fair migration policies is not just a bureaucratic endeavor. It's a moral commitment to uphold the dignity and rights of every individual who seeks refuge or a better life in a new land. South Africa's White Paper is more than just a document. It's a blueprint for compassion, fairness, and respect. It's a recognition that in our interconnected world, we share a collective responsibility to protect and support those who are most vulnerable.